You make more money than your parents ever did. More than you thought you'd make 10 years ago. Enough that you shouldn't have to think about money this much. And yet, you do. Every day, actually. Not because you're reckless, not because you don't budget or track or try, but because no matter how much comes in, there's this feeling, quiet, persistent, almost embarrassing, that you're still one bad month away from everything falling apart. You look fine on paper, but you feel broke. Let's be clear about something right now. You're not bad with money. You're not financially illiterate. You understand compound interest. You've set up automatic transfers. You've done the responsible things. And you're not lazy. You work hard. You've earned what you have. The problem isn't that you don't know what to do. The problem is that knowing what to do hasn't made the feeling go away. If you were just irresponsible, the fix would be obvious. But you're not. You're thoughtful. You're aware. You're trying. And still, at the end of most months, you feel like you're treading water. This isn't about your intelligence. It's about something that happens automatically, beneath your awareness, every single time you interact with money. And the worst part? The thing that makes you good at your job, your ability to solve problems, to anticipate needs, to plan ahead, is the exact same thing keeping you trapped. Here's what's actually happening. You're not feeling broke because you're spending recklessly. You're feeling broke because you've trained yourself to treat your income as a problem to be solved rather than a resource to be used. This is why earning more hasn't made you feel safer. It's made you more vigilant. Every dollar that comes in triggers a mental process, not a conscious one, an automatic one. Your brain immediately runs scenarios. What could go wrong? What might I need? What haven't I prepared for? It's not anxiety exactly, it's vigilance. And vigilance feels responsible. It feels smart. Because in your mind, the purpose of money isn't to improve your life right now. It's to prevent future disaster. So you save, you prepare, you delay the thing you want because what if you need that money later? And this would be fine, responsible even, if it ever actually made you feel secure. But it doesn't. Because the threshold for enough keeps moving. The more you earn, the more sophisticated your disaster scenarios become. You're not worried about rent anymore. You're worried about aging parents, job loss, market crashes, your kids' college fund. The threats grow with your income, and so the feeling of scarcity grows too. Your financial vigilance isn't protecting you from feeling broke. It's creating the feeling of being broke. Here's where this becomes a problem. Your brain learned early that money equals safety, and safety must never be risked. When you perceive your environment as uncertain, resources stop being things you deploy. They become things you defend. This happens unconsciously. You don't wake up and decide to feel scarce. You just do. And here's why it persists even when you earn well. Your brain doesn't measure financial security by looking at your bank account. It measures security by scanning for threats. If you're wired to notice what could go wrong, and if you're smart, you probably are, then every financial decision becomes a test. Is this safe? Is this justified? Could I regret this? The result is a constant low-level hum of financial anxiety that has nothing to do with your actual financial position. You might have 6 months of expenses saved, a solid income, no credit card debt, and still feel like spending $200 on something you want is somehow irresponsible. Because the question isn't, can I afford this?
The real question your brain is asking is, what threat am I not seeing? And that question has no satisfying answer. So you don't buy the thing. You keep the money. You stay vigilant. And the feeling of being broke persists. Not because you have to live that way, but because some part of you believes that's what responsible people do.
This is the part people don't notice. It plays out in small, mundane ways that feel completely reasonable in the moment. You're at the grocery store. You put something in your cart, nicer cheese, good olive oil, the organic berries, and then you pause. You think, do I really need this? Not because you can't afford it. You can, easily. But because spending an extra $12 feels unjustified. So you put it back, and you feel responsible. What you don't notice is that you just denied yourself something small that would have made your week a little better, to save an amount of money that won't actually change anything. But it changed how you feel. You feel tighter, more constrained. Or you're planning a vacation. You've been working nonstop. You're exhausted. You need a break. You start looking at flights and hotels, and immediately your brain starts calculating. This is expensive. What if something happens and I need this money? So you downgrade. Cheaper flight, with 2 layovers. Hotel that's farther from everything. Not because you can't afford the better option, but because spending more feels reckless. You come back feeling like you still need a vacation. The money you saved sits in your account, doing nothing. But you feel broke. You've been wearing the same winter coat for 6 years. It's worn out. The zipper sticks. It doesn't keep you warm. You see one you like. $300. Well made. Will last a decade. You can afford it. But you don't buy it because $300 feels like too much, even though you'll wear it nearly every day for years. So you wait. You tell yourself you'll get it on sale. Meanwhile, you're cold, uncomfortable, every day. The $300 is still in your account, but your daily experience of life got worse. One more. You get a raise, a good one, 10%. For about a week, you feel relieved. Then, almost immediately, your brain recalibrates. Okay, but now I should max out my 401k, increase my emergency fund to 9 months. And what about that roof? Within a month, the raise is absorbed, not by lifestyle inflation, by preparation inflation. You're saving more, planning more, worrying more, and you feel exactly as broke as you did before. Here's the part that's hard to admit. You're not protecting yourself. You're just practicing scarcity over and over until it becomes your default setting. Here's the hidden cost, not in dollars, in life. The money you're saving by staying vigilant, you're spending it anyway. You're spending it on stress, on the mental load of constantly evaluating whether things are justified, on the low-grade guilt that comes with every small purchase. And here's what happens over time. You start to resent your own life, not loudly, quietly. You look around and notice that other people who earn less than you, seem to enjoy things more easily. They go out to dinner without calculating. They buy the thing they want without a 3-day internal debate. And you think, how did they do that? The answer is, they don't treat money like a threat. But you do. And over the years, that adds up. Not in money lost, in life not lived. The trips you didn't take because they weren't smart. The experiences you delayed until someday. The small daily comforts you denied yourself because they felt irresponsible. All that vigilance was supposed to buy you security,
But what it actually bought you was a life that feels smaller than it needs to be. And the cruelest part? You look at your bank account and think, I should feel better than this. You've done everything right. You've saved, you've been responsible, you've planned, and yet the feeling of scarcity is still there, because the feeling was never about the money. It was about the stance you took toward it, defensive, vigilant, protective. You can't out-earn a defensive posture. No raise will fix it. No amount in savings will make it go away. Because the problem isn't scarcity, it's the habit of performing scarcity, even when it's no longer necessary. So, let me ask you something. When was the last time you spent money on yourself without justifying it, without running the internal calculation, without feeling like you needed permission? When was the last time you looked at your bank account and thought, I have enough? Not, I should save more, just, I have enough. Do you feel wealthier now than you did 5 years ago? Or do you just feel like you have more to protect? If someone handed you $5,000 tomorrow, what would you do with it? Would you use it for something that improves your life right now? Or would you immediately start thinking about what it should be saved for? Be honest. If you spent money on something you wanted, not needed, just wanted, would you feel good about it? Or would you feel guilty? These aren't rhetorical questions. Your answers tell you everything. Here's what changes when you start seeing this pattern. You begin to notice the moment it happens. You're about to buy something. The tightness appears. The question, do I really need this? And instead of obeying that voice automatically, you pause. You ask a different question. Am I saying no because I genuinely can't afford this, or because I'm practicing scarcity? That distinction matters, because one is about reality, the other is about habit. You start to see how often you deny yourself things that wouldn't actually threaten your financial stability. How often you optimize for a future disaster that may never come, at the expense of a present life that's happening right now. You start to notice that the feeling of being broke isn't a financial condition, it's a psychological one. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. You won't suddenly become reckless, but you might start questioning whether the tightness you feel is actually serving you, or whether it's just familiar.
You've probably been told that financial security comes from making the right decisions, saving enough, investing wisely, planning ahead. And all of that matters, but no amount of right decisions will make you feel secure if you're fundamentally relating to money as a threat. Because security isn't just a number in an account, it's a felt sense. And that sense doesn't come from having more. It comes from believing you have enough. If this resonated, I'd be curious to know, was there a moment when money stopped feeling neutral and started feeling heavy? Drop a comment if you want, or just sit with the question. Either way, you're not broken. You're just awake to something that's been running in the background for a long time. And awareness is where everything starts.